Hey guys, Aaron here, and on today's episode of The Aaron White Show, I interview Jemma Beech. Jemma is a singer-songwriter out of Australia, and yeah, she also drives a dump truck. Yes, it's a good chat. All right, enjoy the show. See ya. All right, that's recording. Quick word from the sponsors. FIFO by Aaron Weston, a hilarious novel about all the dodgy stuff that happens in the FIFO industry. And now, FIFO number 2, How a Drug Dealer Became a FIFO Worker. Both available under Aaron Weston Author on Instagram and Facebook, and under The Aaron White Show on TikTok. Both hilarious novels, be a fantastic Christmas gift for the kids. And children's books by Aaron White on Facebook. You got Australian Mining Machines Colouring In book. You got Australian Police Vehicles, Australian Firefighters, Australian Paramedics, Australian Defence Force Machines, Australian Surf Lifesavers, all available under Children's Books by Aaron White on Facebook and under The Aaron White Show on TikTok. All right, let's get started. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Aaron White Show. Today, we have a fantastic guest, Jemma Beech. Jemma is an Australian country music artist and a miner. Welcome to the show, Jem.
Hey, how's it going?
Fantastic, thank you. Hey, today I just want to hear your story, like how and where you grew up, any life-changing events, and how you ended up doing what you're doing today.
Well, I'm currently 28, just about to turn 29. I've been pretty much all across Australia now, which has been amazing. I've started music when I was very little. Didn't realize at the time, though, I had this fascination with guitars. When I look back on photos, I've seemed to always have a guitar in my hand. I've got this one that I've had framed actually with my uncle. So he was probably my biggest influence and teacher through music and playing guitar. And then from when I was like 3 years old. So that's a really nice memory to have captured. And I always look at that and just remind myself of those good times when I was a kid. So I grew up in a small little country town in New South Wales, so southwest of Sydney, about an hour and a half southwest, a little town called Yandera, which I've later discovered it was the town of a famous Joy McKean. She was married to Slim Dusty, wrote all the hits for Slim. So I kind of feel like there's a little connection there maybe. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So, you know, I grew up in that town. We had a few acres, so I was able to grow up with, I had a horse for a few years. I did a bit of riding. And then I got into motorbikes and we had a paddock basher, and it was just a really nice home growing up. I'm actually one of 4 kids. So I've got an older sister and 2 younger brothers. And my mum and dad, they've had their own business since they were 19, 20, which is the time they met each other. So I've had and they're pretty successful. So I've always had a very good role models in my parents, which has been amazing. You know, they do love to drink and party. I grew up with a lot of that around, although work was number one. It was never, you could never make an excuse not to go to work. It was work hard, which was a great mentality. I was always the musical one in the family though. So my younger brothers were into sports. My older sister was into sports. They were all state level sports people. You can tell I'm not a sports person. You know, I enjoyed sport, but it wasn't really my thing. School wasn't really my thing, to be honest. I was good at English. I was good in music class, in drama, theatre. So definitely that performing side of myself is where I shone and grew and really got a good grasp on life and where my purpose and direction was going to be. And yeah, like I went on to country music clubs. I don't know really how I got into country music. I mean, I guess it's the influence from my parents and grandparents, and just living on a few acres and having a horse and being that country farm girl. You know, we had chickens and things like that, and we had to do our chores and make sure that, like that was all done before school and before work and after school. That's that type of mentality growing up. So, but country music also, for me, spoke a lot of truth, and it told stories, and I love my heritage, and I try and honor where I've come from. So with that, I think my first song I ever wrote, I was about 10, 11. That was any good at the time. And my uncle helped me write that song. It was for my great grandmother's 80th birthday. So she loved it. Everyone was in tears. It was a really sweet song. But from then, I joined a country music club and started doing talent quests. This is a club for amateurs at the time, and I was coming into an industry where I didn't grow up around professional musicians. It was all musicians just who played at home and around the bonfire, and we'd go on camping trips and things like that. So this just opened up my eyes so much. And I had been doing theatre and drama at school and performances at school, but this was just next level. I was like, I'm actually going to be able to tour around New South Wales and go to these clubs, and you know, you have to wear outfits and dress up and present a song, and it's a lot of practice. And I've actually couldn't really get into guitar lessons. I'm sort of self-taught, and if I hear a song, I can pick the chords and I can figure it out on my own, which is pretty cool. I was pretty lucky there, but you know, I've later discovered I probably should get some lessons. I mean, I'm good, but you know, just to get the theory behind it all. As I said before, school was never my thing, and study wasn't really. I didn't really read a lot of books. It was always just you playing music and just jamming and traveling around. So I've later tapped into studying and doing a lot of reading and things like that, and discovering you know, the history of other artists, and that's really helped a lot. I think that just came with as I got older and maturing a little bit more, and knowing that music was something I really wanted to stick with. And you know, I could never do music full time straight away. When I left school, I jumped into a full-time office job, which I later got fired, I think. I was a receptionist, and they were like, you're a little bit too much for this job. And I was like, okay, well, yeah. So then I got into an apprenticeship doing beauty therapy. So I ended up doing an apprenticeship in beauty therapy. I did my diploma. I then left that job and started up my own business. And then I was able to work out doing beauty therapy from home. Because of my music, and because I've created such a profile as Jemma Beech, the singer, I was able to then have a lot of reach with when I started my own business as a beauty therapist. So people were coming to me, and then I was able to book in gigs and sort of work out my life that way. But you know, that was pretty much my early 20s. But with that, it kind of came with a lot of struggle, a lot of I felt like I was doing it on my own. I you know, I had my parents' support. They were able to, you know, provide a room on our property up in the back in the barn, and it was all done up nice and presentable and things like that. But no one really understood me. So I found it was hard to have a relationship. It was hard for them to understand where I was going with my life. And I guess I couldn't really explain that as well at the time. I was just like, but I'm focusing on my music and I'm focusing on my own business. You know, I don't really have time to be partying and, you know, having a relationship, it was really hard. So I had a pretty bad time with relationships, which really then put me in a really bad spiral with connections with people, with showing my real emotions. I then, you know, was kicked out of home. So things got pretty bad. I just was so lost, and I was grabbing onto just anything at the time. But it was a good thing, like, that I did leave. You know, I always had the support of my nan, my dad's mum, who's an Irish lady. So she always had a glass of whiskey there for me, and you know, she calmed me down, and she was always my rock, and she still is today. We're very, very close. So anyway, I then was in therapy and trying to figure out why this is happening. Why am I feeling so down? Like, where is my life going? Is this it? I lost friends. I lost my family, you know, and I put on weight. I put on so much weight. I was just, oh yeah, this is some deep stuff, you know. It's hard for me to speak up about it and to really go into it, to be honest. But you know, I'm 30 next year, so I'm sort of at the stage now where I've really done a lot of work. I've never stopped therapy over, you know, the last 10 years. I've been through different types of therapy, like counselors and meditation retreats, and what else? Just different, like, life coaches, and you know, speaking to someone over the phone, Lifeline, and things like that. So every little bit helped. I can see that now, but at the time I just felt like it wasn't helping. But music was my one thing that helped at the time. Through it all, it was my way out of a dark place. So whenever I'd go and feel down or lost, like, music was always there. So I've realized it's definitely my purpose in life. So once I figured out that it's up to me to pull myself out of those situations and away from that environment, I really began to just open up, and then realize I've got so much opportunity here. And it was so random. I think I was about 25. And I had a phone call. It was so random. I was a nanny at the time, another job that I was doing, after taking a little bit of a break from singing, because I'd actually developed some vocal nodules. So I was singing incorrectly. And I guess that was just due to, you know, the depression that I was in, and, you know, started drinking a lot, started smoking cigarettes, and just, like, hanging out with the wrong people, and people who didn't really have something to drive towards and do much. But yeah, so I got this phone call, and it was the Sunny Cowgirls manager. And they're an Australian iconic sister duo in country music. And at first I thought it was a joke, and but it wasn't. And I had to decide. I'd healed from my vocal nodules. I was seeing a vocal therapist, speech therapy. I was doing, you know, I had to change my diet. I had a lot of reflux from all the alcohol and the bad food I was drinking and all that. But then again, I was born with reflux. So pretty much from the get-go, I was always susceptible to that sort of thing. Anyway, so I decided, I asked a few of my good friends that, should I do this, you know, with this, I really want to, but I was just, like, scared, because I've sort of dug myself in a hole at the time, and then thought, but I need a way out. And this is an opportunity. So I took it, and we did 3 months on the road. I then got to learn so much what it was like to be, you know, living life on the road and touring and meeting people, and it just changed everything. I was able to then meet my producer. I'd been writing songs. You know, I'd gone to the Academy of Country Music. I've done that, the junior course and the senior course, which is a bunch of an amazing Australian artists, country music artists, singer songwriters, guitarists, musicians, industry people. So I really was getting my name out there, and I was in the mix, and I was just really thriving there. But the demons and the depression was just really getting in that way. It was clouding my judgment. It was just like, no, you know, you have to work on yourself first. So anyway, I started recording some songs up in Tamworth, which is the capital of country music in Australia. That took me about a year, because during that time I sort of went back downhill. I was not really earning a lot of money at the time. I was struggling to find out where I belong still. My family welcomed me back home. They noticed that I was growing, and I learned from my past, and I was, you know, forgiven myself, and then I, you know, apologized to everybody and was trying to reconnect and get myself back up and running. We then had another big sort of family drama. My parents were actually going to split up, and that really hit hard for me, because I had always seen them as a very strong unit. And then that, and me being sort of the only one that was around at home, because I wasn't working a lot. I was doing gigs just whenever I could. I then was talking to a friend that I'd met on Instagram, and she has designed and created her own Western boots. She's from the Pilbara in Western Australia. She'd been a miner herself, and her husband was also in the mines as an electrician. So they just had a couple of kids. So she was at home designing her Western boots, and she just started promoting on Instagram. So this was roughly 2017. We connected, and then because her boots weren't actually produced yet, because I was just like, I want your boots, they're really cool. And the boots were actually inspired by the outback, the Pilbara region. You know, one boot design at the time was the shaft was like an ant mound. So in the outback, in the Pilbara, especially around Karajini National Park, you've got all these massive ant mounds. And yeah, so it had like little ants all up the shaft, and I thought that's pretty cool. And then it had, you know, like a crocodile print sort of on them as well. So I was really interested in her, and we stayed in contact. And then I'd had a gig booked in Victoria, Field Days, which is like a massive agriculture festival, went over 3 days. So they booked me to sing around the lunchtime area for the 3 days. And then anyway, we met. And then shortly after that, she'd messaged me saying, hey, I'm doing a pop-up show. I'm traveling around the West Coast. Just wondering if you'd like to come over and check it out. And we can, you know, I've got more boots available and things like that. And I said, oh, that sounds awesome. You know, I think it might be a little bit too far for me. I'm kind of still not financially able to fly or travel. Like, I'm just getting by sort of thing. And she's like, well, we need a nanny. And I said, well, I'm a nanny. I said, I'll do that. So I just split up with another relationship that went south. And then, yeah, my parents were going through their thing, and I just said, this is my ticket out. I need to do this. So I built up that courage. She said, bring your guitar, pack a suitcase, and I will fly you over to Perth, and then we can go traveling around the West Coast. We did the Southwest for 3 weeks, and that trip just was another one of those moments where I was just like, this is another chance for me to get back into moving forward and leaving the past behind, and just that climb. And she really helped me through that. And then after the 3 weeks, she said, look, I've heard your story. I'm feeling you. Like, I really want to help you as much as I can. And it was hard for me to take help as well. So a lot of people were helping me, but it's also really hard for me to take help. I'd rather just sort of handle it, and I'll get there when I can, if I could. So I said, okay. She's like, I'm going to fly you up to Paraburdoo in the Pilbara region. Check it out. Stay for a couple of weeks. I'll put you up in a house. And just check out the town. It's a mining town full of, I think, 2,500 people. I've never been into mining. I don't know the life. My whole life was just music and different little jobs. So I was like, okay. And then so I was in the town, and I was meeting people, and everyone was talking about, driving trucks and just all these stories, and how the fitters did this. And I don't know, it was just like all these stories. And I'm like, what are they talking about? I had no idea. Oh, remember when this happened? I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Can you explain? Like, it was just so new to me. So that was roughly, 2018. January 2018, I decided to live there. So I'd moved in with someone in town, put me up for a room to rent. And then I started, it took me about 3 months to get the job. So as I've got a history in, music, I had my guitar with me. So I was able to do some gigs. I was able to, I'm a beautician, so I just ordered some things on eBay and had them delivered. I was able to be, a beautician in the town. There's a lot of women, a lot of girls. There was a, primary school. There's a high school in the next town, a lot of mothers. So it was a very family-based town. So then I started doing that. Also, there was stations, working stations all around the Pilbara. So the closest one was Chila Plains Station, and they had a station stay. So they had dongers, and they had rooms that people could come and stay. You could bring your caravan. There was an entertainment area, a community kitchen, and I rock up with my guitar from borrowing someone's car in town, because I had no car as well. And I've just said, g'day, I'm Jemma. I've just moved to Paraburdoo. I'd love to see what you guys do, and sort of sing for my supper. And that's what I did. And they welcomed me with open arms. I was able to go out mustering. I've never done that before. I've been around the country lifestyle and horses, and I've been to rodeos and things like that, but I never really experienced it like I did in the outback, and just being so open, those spaces and the mountains, the air was different, the sky was huge. I just felt free. I felt like this is where I needed to be. This is what I've needed. And the people out there were so different. They were slower. And, I just learned so much about the history of the land out there. My neighbour, actually, he was an Aboriginal elder, and he didn't really talk, but he'd always give me a wave every time, you know, we'd see each other. And that was another friendship that I made once we got to know each other a little bit more, because he lived by himself, and he had family in the communities around. You know, he'd been there his whole life. You know, his ancestors are from that region as well. So he shared a lot of his stories and things like that, which was pretty hard for him as well. But yeah, we formed a really nice friendship, and he then later passed, unfortunately, and that was actually really sad, because both my grandfathers had passed when I was about 12 years old. So he sort of filled those shoes during that time, and I actually yeah, spending the time out on the station and hearing stories from him, and I was able to write some songs. I was writing all these songs, and things are just flowing. And so I started in the mines and started the traineeship, and yeah, didn't that change my whole life? I'm now still in the mines. This is my 3rd year in mining. So I only ended up staying in the Pilbara region for about 2 years. Did 3 summers, which seemed like the whole time. It was so hot, but I just accustomized to it. Met so many cool people, and yeah, was doing lots of music around in the Pilbara region. I was able to go to Exmouth and Coral Bay and just do little holiday trips around there. I did a trip around from Sydney. I did a car trip through Victoria, up through South Australia, went through the Northern Territory, and just stopped in along the way at all these different pubs. I had a gig booked in Alice Springs at Oromina Station. So Oromina Station is a station where they've got this old Western scene set up. So they'd had, I think a lot of movies get filmed out there as well, which is pretty cool. But they'd put on a dinner and a show for me. And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for my own show. Like, I just been doing gigs, support acts, and my own small town, yeah, pub sort of thing. And then I just felt like, this is awesome. I definitely want to do this more. So I was, you know, carried that experience through to now. Yeah, I then decided after I'd finished my traineeship in the mines, I missed home. I missed my family. It was a long time away. I have nephews and nieces that I'm really close with, cousins, and my nan, of course. So I really missed her, and she was really missing me. And I could just, it changed. It was too long that I was away for. Like, I clearly was a big part in everybody's lives, but I just couldn't see it back then. So it was a good feeling. It was a very nice feeling, and I'd let go of a lot of that trauma I'd put myself through and grew up with, and all those expectations that I thought that were of me. Like, I just started living my life for me, and speaking my truth more. And I just found that the people that didn't stick around, and that's okay, and the people that did, you know, they're just the most amazing people in my life. And it's been a ride. But I'm happily living on my own still, so independent. I've been able to buy a brand new Toyota Hilux, the 2021, which has been my dream since I got my license, because that's all I ever wanted to do, was just get in a big rig and travel around Australia and play my music, ultimately. But I couldn't, mentally bring myself to that. I had to go through all these experiences But now I'm such a good place. You know, I still see a life coach, and I still have mentoring and things like that. And it's I'm not alone, but you know, I'm alone. So it's yeah, I'm just love life, and I'm just, yeah, and still growing and still growing and still learning, and still in the mines and still driving trucks. One big change actually was quite different, was starting driving trucks in iron ore over west compared to driving trucks in coal and like soft dirt material, because you know, over west it hardly ever rained. But when I come to like the East Coast in the Hunter Valley, just especially at the moment, it's just raining constantly, and you're sliding around in the mud, and you're just, that my anxiety just goes through the roof. I'm like, what am I doing? But luckily, I've never had a problem. I know how to control it, but I don't enjoy it. um, but it's, yeah, mining and driving trucks has definitely made me a very independent person, and I probably won't be leaving anytime soon until I build my music profile back up again, which is slowly happening. I've got co-writes with some top amazing artists in Australia. I've started reconnecting with a lot of my musician friends from, you know, 10 years ago when I was doing the talent quest and things like that. And being in the Hunter Valley really is a great place to be. You know, Tamworth is only 2.5 hours from me. Sydney is only 3 hours. So I'm very close to home and family. Close to Newcastle. That's another great musical hub. And yeah, it's just really a really good place to be. I guess now, you know, just working in this local area, I've decided that this is where I definitely want to be. So I've been branching out to different businesses and local pubs and things like that. Obviously, COVID, the pandemic has really done a good setback on that one there. So yeah, that has not been fun. But in saying that, I've been able to chill out, really set myself up, just focus on, you know, mining and saving money and getting my car set up, writing lots of songs, and I've never done Zoom calls. I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. You know, and do demos for myself and record and that sort of thing, which is really fun. It's really good. I feel like there's no pressure. It's all in good timing. My roster's pretty cool. I do like a 5-5 4-5 roster. So I get, you know, 2 weekends, I get a long weekend and work 6 months of the year, and I'm earning really good money. And it's been hard in the mining industry, but it's kind of like being back at school. I have had my fair share of bullies, and yeah, that's probably the only word to describe it. People who just feel like they can tell you who you are and put you down, and don't you talk about your life at work and things like that. So I've got pretty thick skin. You know, I started doing gigs at the age of 16, and my dad's a concreter, you know, so he's pretty rough around the edges sometimes too. But this was next level. Even at school, that was nothing compared to some of the things I've experienced. But in saying that, I've also found some really amazing people who have had my back. They're like, Gemma, you're definitely not in the wrong. Like, you need to hang in there, and really just had my back and supported me through it all. So, and I guess through all the therapy and life coach sessions I have had, I've been able to let it go and move on and continue my life no matter what. So yeah, I guess I'm just continuing to expand what I've got going on right now, and that's just sticking in the mines. I'd like to get some more skills, and then writing songs about my mining experience. So we'll have some new music and music videos and things like that. And now I'm working, just promoting another local business who's just sort of started up, the Hunter Valley Mining Apparel, who's been an awesome advocate for bringing the mining industry together as a community. I've got some of his gear now and helping him promote his business, and he's been helping me out, especially when it comes to TikTok, because I do not understand TikTok. So I'm slowly getting there, but just really having a ball. So I think that's about it for now.
Have you got your music up online, like on Spotify? Where can like people listen to your music?
Yeah, I've got a physical copy as well. So I've got a website, jemmabeech.com.au. I've also got my songs on Spotify, Apple Music, and on YouTube. I've got a few music video clips as well you can check out. They were filmed, I'm a Girl was filmed in my hometown, and the surrounding areas in Picton, New South Wales. And then my other song, Gravy Train, which was actually massively inspired by my story I was saying before with living at home and being supported by my family, but leaving home and then becoming independent. That's what Gravy Train was all about, is about money and about just letting go of my past hurt and trauma and depression, and getting out of that, and then becoming on my own and realizing, I'm the only one who can to pull myself out of that. So that one was filmed in Muswellbrook, which is in the Hunter Valley. So I've had a lot of people help me through my music as well. Like the pub I performed at, I'd done gigs there regularly. So he was like, you can come film here for free. His daughter, it was actually the barmaid with me. So it's quite interesting. You can check it out. But the music video does sort of display that it's about a relationship, because I've got a male actor in there who is like my partner, but it's, there is a lot more to the song. I guess I just asked the film director, I was like, how are we going to portray this song? And he's like, well, this is what came to my mind. And I said, well, you know what, that's what I want. I want people to figure out what that song means to them in their mind, and take their story with that. I still am a bit scared to share my story, because it's a bit deep and dark, but I'm getting there, and you're helping me do that, so thank you.
You're welcome. We're about to run out of time, but what I want to touch on is The Voice. Hayden was saying that you went on The Voice.
Yeah, I was on The Voice this year, so it's just flown by. I was approached through Facebook and Instagram end of last year, and I really didn't know if it was something I wanted to do. I was just focusing on my mining because of the pandemic. But then I thought, even if I do The Voice, it's going to bring me back into that next level, and get my name back out there and say, hey, Jemma Beech is still here. It's still my purpose. It's still what I love to do. So, and I've just had like so many lovely messages, people from school reconnecting, people from the industry, and I've just been very, very kindly supported in that way. So that was awesome, an experience. Yeah.
How'd you go on it? I only quickly clicked on your story last night. I think you're filming your TV with you on it. I didn't actually do that much research, which is pretty bad, but whatever. How'd you go in the competition?
So I was able to. So there's a big process before you get to the TV stage. So I got to the blind auditions. I went through Zoom calls with them, auditions. We went through song selections. We went through my backstory. We went through my mining history. They were really intrigued that I was a truck driver in the mines and a country singer. They also pointed out that I look like Miley Cyrus. So I had, a lot of people were just onto that one pretty quickly, but that's okay. So yeah, and I only got as far as the blind auditions. I didn't have a chair turn, but it was just like the rehearsals, I smashed it. But the actual live audition in front of the cameras, in front of the crowd, in front of the judges, like we had Keith Urban, Guy Sebastian, Rita Ora, and Jess Mauboy, and like they're massive. So to sing in front of them was so nerve-wracking. But when I look back on the video now, I just say, wow, that's amazing. Like, I really am proud of how far I've come. That just proved it. So yeah.
That was pretty cool. Something that, not many people get to say that they've actually done. Do you get to choose the lighting and all that type of stuff? And like if you wanted explosions, could you have chosen that type of stuff? Nah, they picked you and you just picked a song or what?
I got to choose my song.
Yep.
I got to figure it out. They knew I was a country singer. I love rock music as well. And I especially love that 80s female rock. I'm really into that. So Pat Benatar was just, for me, that song just was my comeback song as well. So I was happy with my song decision and they were happy with it. I didn't have to, they didn't ask me not to do it or to do it, or they were just like, yep, no, we're happy with that. Let's do that. And however you want to style yourself, we're happy with that. Like there was a few selections. I got to play my guitar. Keith Urban gave me a guitar pick. They all gave me a big cuddle at the end and was just like, keep gigging, keep doing music. You have a wonderful voice. Jess Mauboy was like, I can tell you'd be a songwriter. Keep writing songs. And definitely that, like they were spot on with those comments. And I walked away so happy and so proud of myself. And especially having my nan there and my auntie was there as well. So yeah.
And they paid for your flights and for your family's flights to come to the show and stuff?
Well, my family live in Sydney, so they only had to drive like an hour. And then I drove because I'm only I think it's 2 or 3 hours to Sydney. But they paid for my accommodation and food and so they did look after me. And it was a great crew, great experience. Yeah. I probably wouldn't do it again.
Why is that?
I guess because since then I've been able to, I've been approached by a lot of people, industry people. I'm being mentored now by Gina Jeffries. She's like massive Australian country music artist, multiple award-winning artist. So, and she's just phenomenal, been in the industry a long, long time and very successful. So I'm very happily being mentored by her. We're working on, new music and my 5-year plan. And, that involves going over to Nashville. That involves traveling around Australia, getting on some tours and then creating my own shows while still being in the industry, I guess.
Yep.
In the mining industry. So see how that goes.
Sweet. We're about to wrap up in a minute, but my wife's just walked in. Have you got any? You missed out of heaps.
Sorry. Hi.
That's my wife, Francesca.
How are you going?
Gemma.
Good. How are you?
I just thought it was really cool how you're you're a singer and all of that, because I've been playing the guitar and writing some of my own stuff, and I just thought, do you play an instrument as well and stuff?
Yeah. That's cool.
Oh, you play the guitar. Oh, awesome.
Yeah. I think I've got it in the back.
Oh, hello, guitar. Do you write your own music?
Yeah, I've been writing songs since I was about 10 probably. I mean, when we're kids, we always sing around the house, don't we? And just la la la, and just sing your own songs. But I've been to a few songwriter retreats as well. You know, I'm confident in writing a song by myself, but I just wanted to learn the craft of songwriting. I really wanted to make sure that it's a hit song. It's going to be something that grabs you. And every time I do write a song, I try and think of that, like, what's the end product? Which is pretty cool. It's got me a few good songs out there online, and I got to number 1 on the iTunes chart when I released my album.
Congratulations! That's awesome.
That was amazing. And I made the top 20 in the ARIA charts as well.
What? Okay, I'm definitely checking out your music now, because I love the fact you're an artist, but I was just so curious about your journey and how you went about it. Did you grow up with your dad playing the guitar or anything like that?
No, my mum did sing, actually. She loved singing. She had a very sweet voice, and but no, it was just my dad's friends. They could play guitar, harmonica, and they were big on camping and holidaying together. So I grew up and my uncle played guitar. So they sort of could see that I was always hanging out with the adults, not the kids. She's interested in like the real guitar
I used
stuff.
to be like that. Yeah, totally understand. Oh, that's so cool. And so you prefer country music sort of thing? Or? Yeah,
I do. I love country music and but having that modern flavor. Yeah, and I'm definitely more rock. Country, I love my 80s rock, you know. Yeah.
I love that stuff. If you come, are you going to perform in Perth anytime soon?
Well, yeah, if I do a national tour.
Yay! You have to let us know.
I definitely will. Yes.
Hey, I'm excited. Oh, well, anyway, I just want to drop in and have a chat with you about that. So yeah.
No worries.
So is it true that country music only like works with 4 chords repeated, like 5 chords or something?
3 chords and the truth.
yeah, totally. Yeah.
Pretty much. Like you can even have a look on YouTube. People have done, you know, just 4 chords, and they're singing through all these different songs, and it's just not country. It's pop. It's rock. It's every genre, really.
Yeah, because when I got my guitar lessons, I was so shocked that most songs are literally 4 chords. I thought it was so much more complicated than that, but no, thank God. But no, it's good.
All right, cool. Well, we've run out of time.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Hey, so tell everybody again where they can find you online or find your music.
You can find me on jemmabeech.com.au, or you can head to Spotify, Jemma Beech, or Apple Music, or on my Facebook page, Instagram, or TikTok. It's just Jemma Beech. It's Jemma with a J, Jemma, and it's Beech with a double E, like the tree.
Oh, nice. I like it. That's a twist. Nice.
All right. Well, massive thanks for coming on the show. Did you have fun?
I did. It was, you know, we got deep and dark in some conversation, but I'm very happy to share my story, and I'm very grateful that, you know, you guys reached out and I was able to be a part of your show. So I hope the listeners enjoy.
Aww.
I'm sure they will. All right. Just going to do the quick little outro. Oh, and thanks for my wife for popping in.
You're welcome.
Well, yeah, that's a wrap. I'd like to thank Jemma again for coming to the show, and my wife. And yeah, I've lost my trail of thought.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you, the listener, for listening. Please tell a friend about the podcast. Have a fantastic day. All right, bye.
Bye. Nice to meet you.